Well, I've been stuck in this car for 4.5 days, and the sun's came out today. The snow's just melting over there in the background, and I'm obviously a bit smelly. And I've just been battering away on here. Oh, close the door. Thank you. And doing some stuff, catching up, working on this book. Now, I'm meant to go to Maina, Maina's a little town just over there at the other side of this lake. And I want to go and interview some fishing legends, because there's loads of fishing legends there. There's a few, but I've got my eye on. And I want to interview them for this book that I'm working on. And I'm waiting in the sun and a bit more heat because I want to go down the lake and wash myself, because I don't want to go to these people and they'll be like, come in. You know, I'm a stinky bastard. But, so that's what I want to do today. So just keeping you up to date what's happening. And this is for Jeff and Shirley. They've told me they want me to wear this lovely hat they bought me. I actually think it's a cushion cover or something. I did see the price tag. It says $1, so they're not scared to spend a few bob on me. They made me wear this one night. I went to meet them, and I think it was Robbie Burns' night, and they took me to this place, and I had to wear this hat in this little coffee shop, which was fun. My tent's frozen. It was freezing last night. I had to put all my clothes on, and I'm still rather cold. And the end of the nose is frozen. And there's a duck-billed platypus out there in the lake causing some ripples and rises, and I got all excited, thought it was the big fish. It's going to be a while before the sun gets here, so I'm just going to pack up the frozen tent. And I've already put my fly rod down. The cork handle was frozen. There was no insect life last night or anything on Lake Fanny. And probably walk back out about 3 hours. And I think I'll have to go back to the lowlands and where it's a bit warmer. Do you blame me? Anyway, see ya. So I'm near the end of the trip, and I've just done a walk into a lake called Lake Fanny. Yes, Lake Fanny. And I just love the name, that's why I'm here. But going across there on the bottom, can you see it? That's a stonefly. And it's actually hatched. It's got wings. There, it's popped up to the surface. And I never knew, and probably a lot of other people did not know, that they could submerge themselves for a certain length of time and crawl along the bottom, even with their wings. Now it's on the surface. It's got itself sort of stuck there now. But it was crawling along the bottom there. Quite the thing. There's this one here. See, it's gone right under the water. Look at that. It's either it knows I'm here and it's doing it. It's a escape mechanism. Then it's popped back up there. It's in the foam. I'm just going to see if I can capture it. There it is there. How cool is that? Big stonefly. I would never have imagined it going under the water, especially with wings. Okay, I'm going to leave you. I'm at this lake here. Lake Fanny, and I'm going to camp the night here. Just for the hell of it. I've got my fishing rod, but I'm sort of fished out. Obviously, this is my rod tube. And everywhere I go, since I bought it, inside here, not only with my rods, is this. This is by far the best back scratcher I've ever come across. I bought it in Thailand years ago when I was Masia fishing in the jungles over there. And yeah, so not only my rods go in there, it's my back scratcher tube as well. So I just love getting my back scratched. Well, here I am in the office, busy writing this morning, bit of a storm outside. And I thought I'd give you my tip for today, something that you need to all get. It's one of these. Great product, very cheap, great fun to have. And every fly fishing bum should have one. Anything to do with flies actually is fascinating. And there's... got him! There you go. Great value. Thanks for watching. Finally arrived at Lake K. One of the reasons I'm here is I'm trying to decide or figure out where I was some 25 years ago or something like that. When I got stranded, I was hitchhiking, got stranded in my tent, and then there was a massive storm. But just before that, it was sunny like this, and there was gum beetles around. And that's where I got the first idea to design my gum beetle fly, or the bionic beetle fly range. So that's where it all happened so many years ago. And something hilarious just happened. I'm trying to see where this other angler is. Sudden I heard someone shout, "Fuck." So there's a high chance they're over that way and they've just missed a fish. But that's fishing. Thanks for watching from Tasmania. Here we are on another secret lake, and there's some mayfly nymphs hatching. And the adult version, the dun with the brown wings, is floating on the surface. There's quite a few fishermen around. I haven't seen anyone catch anything yet. Like I say, we've just arrived. We're bound to catch heaps, and they're all going to be pissed off at us. But the limit here used to be 20 fish, and I think they've reduced it to 10. Oh, two. Yeah. Okay, to 2 fish. We've still to catch 1 fish, but like I say, we've only been here 5 minutes, so no doubt in another 10 minutes we're going to both catch at least 2 fish each, and that'll be our limit.
I like the way you're thinking.
Yeah, I'm always thinking. We're out from Little Pine.
Who said that? Jesus.
All right, sorry. Secret lake. Here we are on another lake. And this lake, I'm not allowed to tell you the name of it, but it's called Woods Lake. And it's quite a shallow lake. It's got a lot of vegetation on the bottom, 100 meters from the shore, and it's about 2.5 meters deep only. Weed in the surface there, strap weed, I've been told. And there's also a lot of dead trees around the bankings. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I can count 10 boats just in that small area there. We sell here in Tasmania roast pork and gravy. Who would have thought? But we're going to try that. And there's another one, roast beef and gravy. Good old Tassie lunch. Here we have a deadly damselfly and the shock of a real damsel nymph. This is a light brown one. This is an olive damselfly. I've got brown ones, but not with me. And you can see this is like a The shock is like a snake skin from the original aquatic insect, which has come up through the water and hatched into an adult damselfly, which is flying around. And we're going to try using one of these to imitate it. That's the plan. Okay, Steve, this one's for you because you're asking and you obviously know about it. So I did tie a fly once, and it was to help sell some plots of land, a development near Queenstown. And I designed this fly, and I had to design it and to name it, and I called it the Bendemeer Beauty. Obviously, the estate was called Bendemeer Estate, from memory. I hope I've got that right. It was a long time ago. 20 years, I don't know. And it was a black fly, and it was a streamer fly, and it might have had some orange and red on it. And yeah, I tied about 40 of them. I didn't charge enough, as when I look back, and you know, it's like most artists, you undercharge. You don't realize all the time and effort you put into designing that fly, making it, tying it, and then you just get a couple of bucks at the end of the day. And they're selling these real estate sections for a few million probably. But anyway, that was a challenge. That's something that I did. I've done a lot of wacky stuff, or just different stuff involved with fly tying. So yeah, the Bendemeer Beauty, that's a wee story for you. I've got tons of little stories, and if you keep the questions coming, I'll do my best to answer them. From my office here, metal and glass, yeah, and rubber. Yeah, four-wheel office called a Skoda, and I'm living in it at the moment, trying to write a book. I'll love you and leave you. See ya. What is all this got to do with me being in Tasmania, eh? Eh? So what's the name of this book? Open it. Oh shit. Oh, yeah, I found the opening. Oh, I love it. I love it. Wandering Trout. That's the name of the book. Thanks to this brewery. All the best. Thanks from Tasmania. And thanks for your support. Hope you noticed the clean shirt. I've just been washing it by hand this morning. I've even put some underarm on. Brute 33. Woohoo! Well, I've spent the night up in this forestry block roads in the middle of nowhere. I was meant to go and fish the Taina River, but there was just people everywhere. It's so busy right beside the road. It didn't really appeal to me. Sorry. But I found the Styx River. I got told about this river. It's not easy access, etc. And yeah, spent the night up here. Been waiting on the sun, so I've been writing this morning, waiting on the sun. But I'm going to fish up there today and see what happens with this little tan deadly hopper. Let me see if I can put it on that hat again so I don't lose it on my way back to the car to get dressed for fishing. Woohoo! Love you and leave you. Thanks for watching, and thanks for your support. Oh, from Tasmania. It's a bit slippy going. I've only fallen in once. But it's beautiful up here. And I'm loving it because it's actually quite challenging. There's not too many fish, you know, so you've got to work for your fish. I've maybe only caught, I've caught 4. Missed 2, I think. Missed 2. And this is the fly that I'm using now, especially when the sun comes out. The old deadly ant. It's that fly I designed in Wisconsin, in the driftless area, yonks ago. Works everywhere. What's great in New Zealand, there's no ants. You know, so much for they must eat this, you know, Latin named insect, whatever. Daily ant. Or every time. Okay, Steve, this one's for you because you're asking and you obviously know about it. So I did tie a fly once, and it was to help sell some plots of land, a development near Queenstown. And I designed this fly, and I had to design it and to name it, and I called it the Bendemeer Beauty. Obviously, the estate was called Bendemeer Estate from memory. I hope I've got that right. It was a long time ago. 20 years, I don't know. And it was a black fly, and it was a streamer fly, and it might have some orange and red on it. And yeah, I tied about 40 of them. I didn't charge enough, as when I look back, and you know, it's like most artists, you undercharge. You don't realize all the time and effort you put into designing that fly, making it, tying it, and then you just get a couple of bucks at the end of the day. And they're selling these real estate sections for a few million probably. But anyway, that was a challenge. That's something that I did. I've done a lot of wacky stuff, or just different stuff involved with fly tying. So yeah, the Bendemeer Beauty, that's a wee story for you. I've got tons of little stories, and if you keep the questions coming, I'll do my best to answer them. From my office here, metal and glass, yeah, and rubber. Yeah, four-wheel office called a Skoda. And I'm living in it at the moment, trying to write a book. I'll love you and leave you. See ya. Well, I'm sitting here, got the lake behind me. It's been dead calm. It was all misty this morning. And there's a bit of a foam line. And there's the odd fish feeding in the foam line, just sipping from the surface. And I think it's mayfly spinners. The problem is, the foam line, even though I can cast quite far, it's quite far away. So, I just heard one. But here, I'm just going to tell you about this fly. This is called, you know, I've got the range of flies out there. I look at all my flies like songs, and then I make an album. So I've got the Deadly Nymph range, the Bomb range, the Killer range, you know, the Green Monkey range. That's how it works. Treat them like songs, and I make albums. But this is the Killer Nymph. Quite a sparse little nymph. It's got, you know, you can instantly see it's got my signature little legs on there and synthetic tail that I use on nearly all my nymphs. I do it in so many different colours. I also do it with a wire body on it as well. There's a latex body. I do brown, black, red, copper. Some of them's got a gold bead. Some's got black beads. There you go. And I got this idea, like I get ideas for flies and nymphs. There's a few nymphs that look like this throughout the world. But I was given this when I had the shop, way back when I had the shop, from a Southland guy called Daryl Pascal. And he came in and gave me a fly. And it was similar to this. And it was one of his favourite flies. And he gave me it, and I says, right, I'm going to take that fly, I'm going to add my twist on it. And that's how the Killer Nymph came out. So I used synthetic flies. I didn't change his fly that much because it was so good. 14s, 16s and 18s is the sizes. There you go. So that's where I get inspirations from. You know, that was from Daryl, Southland Guide. And, you know, I've got another fly I'll show you soon. It's a dragonfly imitation, and that's from an editor of a magazine in South Africa. He gave me a fly in the shop and says, here you go, Stu. That's one of the favourite flies in South Africa. See if you can make it better. See what you can do. And that's what I love doing. Making things better, more durable, and just having fun at the vise. Anyway, I better get going. I can hear a... but it's maybe still out of range. Good morning. It's it's February, and it's the height of summer, and it's snowing, and it's freezing here in Tasmania. I'm on top of a bit of a mountain overlooking the Great Lake. The sunset was stunning this morning. There was a little bit of clear sky, and that was awesome. It lasted about 10 minutes, and now the crap weather has come in again, but depends if you're a skier, you might not say it's crap, but it's crap for me. So the summer's non-existent really, and I've been sitting waiting for days sometimes, waiting on opportunities to go in to do to get a story. So but I've got tons of work to do, working on this book, etc. Sorry, the radio's on and the car's on. I'm trying to get some heat in here, not frozen like yesterday morning, and at least I could open my door this morning. But I've got all these notes. This is just I'm getting near the end of them, so I've been ripping them up and throwing them away. I love doing that. Grasp everything while it's still fresh. I was busy writing about a big fish. Woo! So yeah, transferring these onto the computer, get that chapter done. Hopefully, it's been 4 days now I've been working on it. And then it's not finished, you know, that's just the rough, you know, the transfer of these notes onto the computer. That's just one small chapter. There's hundreds of hours involved and a lot of brain power, which I don't have. Anyway, I love you and leave you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. Just sneaking along on this beautiful sand flat. It's golden sand. It's only about ankle deep. I'm not too sure if the fish are going to be on this sand. It's quite shallow water and it probably gets quite warm, so the fish might not be on here at this time of the day. But it's worth a look, and it's just easy going and sort of reminds me of bone fishing. I've got a size 12 deadly black spinner on there. Dead easy to see. It's a cracker of a fly. And there's a lot of massive black spinners flying around the bankings. Not too many in the water. I haven't seen many on the water. But yeah, they're all about this size. They're pretty big compared to what I get in the Matara River in New Zealand. Light fishing, but the clouds are stunning, absolutely stunning. I keep getting distracted by the shapes of them and the beauty of them. I'm with Jeff, he's over there. He's been a bit more serious than me. He's desperate for a fish. I know he is. I just know he is. He hasn't got one yet. But neither have I, but don't tell him, because when I catch up with him, I'm going to tell a wee fib that I've caught heaps. Anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you from Lake Fergus in Tasmania, and hopefully I get to see a fish and catch a fish. If that doesn't happen, the clouds are beautiful. Thanks for watching. See ya. Everyone asked me where I got this cup. It was a gift from a client, and the deal was, if he sent me one, was that I would never just put it on the mantelpiece, I would use it. So I've travelled the world with this cup. It's wooden, it's hand carved, it's made of burl, which is the root of trees, and it's from Norway, and it's just beautiful. It's just so well made. I love it. It's one of them presents that I'll treasure for the rest of my life. And the few times that I've lost it, I've been devastated. And I've always found it again, sometimes days later. But there you go, that's what I drink out of. Coffee, wine, whiskey, oh, and water, of course. Spam! I've got a bit of an attraction for spam. I don't know where it came from, but fake meat in a can. I don't even know if it's me. But what's spam got to do with fly fishing? Working on the deadly ant. That's another story. But anyway, I was leaving there, snaking my way back up north, thinking about big musky and bigger flies. And I found the Spam Museum just by total accident. So I bought the t-shirt, went to, saw the movie. They've got a theatre in there. It was quite amazing, to be honest. And got these photos of me lying in the car park, my fly rods, etc. But the other interesting thing, as well as having the t-shirt, I bought 2 fishing lures and they'd Spam written on them, 2 spinning lures. And I had them in my fly shop hanging above the desk. And the amount of people that wanted to buy them, and they said Spam on them. I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, Jesus, bright tonight. And then I realised there was a spotlight shining in my windows. So I'm parked in this forestry clearing way off the main road. Been here, day and a half trying to get some work done. Just tweaking some bits on Wandering Trout, the first chapter. So this is where I'll sleep and do most of the work in the office. I'll explain about this bag to you in a minute. There's quite a story behind this bag. There's stories between them. And this is how I get out the office. Yeah, so just to give you an idea, sometimes it's just not as glamorous as you think. And he's asking me, why have I never trademarked my flies? Because people are copying them. She's trying to help me. And that was one of the things we tried to do. There was 2 flies that I tried to trademark. One, because I realised when I designed the willow grub and I was having success, I was like, I'm onto something here. Nobody's done it. And so I tried to trademark the banana fly, the willow grub fly, because it took me 9 years to design and develop, basically, before I brought that out, all the rest of it. And so we applied to get that. We looked into with a big company in Christchurch. They specialise in trademarking, and we tried to trademark the yellow foam willow grub. And the other one was the pogo nymph, which is quite famous. I call it the king pogo now. I've changed it, tweaked it. It was basically, we were told I couldn't trademark it because I was already selling it. I'd already produced it. You've got to trademark it and get on top of it before that. You could trademark the name, but that's just a bit of a waste of time. So I tried to trademark the flies, but couldn't. But that was the 2 I was after the trademark. So now it's just fingers crossed that people buy the original from me. There is copies out there, but they don't understand why they were designed the way they're designed and tied. But there you go. That was my attempt many moons ago at trade. So here we are in another secret location. This is obviously a map of the lagoon. I never know whether to call them lakes or lagoons, but this one's a lagoon. Obviously I can't tell you where it is. Well, unless you read it, because it's right there. Anyway, there's some lovely trout art, and it's welcome to Delbert's Lagoon. Browns and rainbows. There's the guidelines there. It's quite interesting. And there's the restrictions. And then there's the rest of it.
Very good information. There's some warnings. There's what you're not allowed to do. And we're off for the day.
Called the deed flea, not dead fly, Scottish version, the deed flea. This originally was a fly. Again, it's all coming back to me. This fly originally was called the Ganant. It's a good fly, but I thought I could make it better, and it gradually developed and changed. No different to models of cars or whatever, and changed to this fly here. Ooh, I've got an allergy to wasps. Oops. Probably sting me. I whacked it. Nice and easy to see, but you still put a bit of floating on the top half here, and it's got those little wings, the same wings that I use for my deadly spinners, etc., just out the side. So it's got a great profile from underneath what the fish sees. Comes in different sizes. There you go. The deed flea. But definitely winter's coming. And the interesting thing is, in between writing there, I've just given up on that, and I just started reading this book about the goshawks, and it's a pretty cool book, and it's reminding me of a lot of things. And it reminds me that fishing is actually hunting. Like these goshawks, these amazing birds hunt. And years ago, I was guiding this gentleman, and lovely young guy. He was a vet from England. And he had 2 goshawks that he used to go hunting with his dog, as well as he went fishing, and he did all this other stuff. And I just remember him telling me when the goshawks were on his arm, the thrill he got just feeling this natural animal just dying to take flight and to take that pheasant out there. Just the pulsating feeling, the electricity of having that bird on his arm was just so addictive to him. And he was just so much in love with his birds, his 2 goshawks, that he wanted to emigrate to Australia and New Zealand, but falconry is not allowed. So that was the only thing that stopped him. And he was in awe at New Zealand, said it's got all these pest animals, it's the perfect place for falconry. But there was no way he was going to leave his birds behind. It's quite amazing, quite amazing. But yeah, fishing is hunting. This is a fly casting tip. If you want to be able to cast the full fly line out the end of your rod, this is by far the easiest way to do it. You basically don't even have to have a lesson. You don't even need to be very good. You can cast the full fly line out the tip of your rod, no problem. So I use a lot of these small reels like this, and your fly line's normally 90 feet, right? So if you put a bit of backing on here and you put the fly line on here, it won't fit. So the back end of the fly line, which is 1 diameter normally if you've got a weight forward fly line, you've got to cut a section off of that to fit on the reel. So if you buy a really small reel, you've got to cut a heap off the back of that fly line, nearly 40 feet. So that makes casting the full fly line even easier. Some may call that cheating. Once went to fly fishing school and this guy was casting and I was in awe, and I'm pretty sure that's what he did. This is years ago when I was a lot younger, and he fooled us all, because later on in life I was helping him try and get a qualification and he couldn't cast the full fly line. And yet I was like, he used to cast that in front of us. And I went, wait a minute. Sneaky. Anyway, that's what you need to do. But you need to do that anyway. Cut a chunk off if you've got a big long fly line and you're putting it on a smaller reel. Don't cut the front off. Cut a section off the back. And fill it up, but don't fill it up too much. This is just on its limit. You've got to be able to turn this. As soon as it's hard to turn, you've got too much backing on there or fly line, take it off, get snipping. Make life easier. There you go. That's my tip. Okay, here's another little story. This fly here, the deadly ant, one of my favourite flies. Catch fish everywhere with it. When I was in the driftless area designing this fly over I think it was a month, 6 weeks, something like that, because there was a lot of ants in the area. So I stayed there and I worked in the park and beside the car on this fly design. Like native Indian from America guy in a van, and he kept arriving just on dark, and he's sort of stalking me. Not sexually, just like to murder me, I think. He was scary, man. And now thinking back, I didn't know nothing about meth and crack. I think he was on some of that gear. But he came up with some of the most bizarre stories, like his family smuggled elephants and... Oh, man, it was nuts. And got to stage, I didn't sleep in the tent. I slept in the car. I had an old Subaru. And I locked the doors at night, etc. And then he wouldn't appear. And then I think, oh, yeah, a few more days, he's not there. Brilliant. I can sleep, I can relax. And then suddenly he'd appear. And it was just wacky. Wacky enough, it was actually scary. But there you go. That's another story. Try to design a fly somewhere in the public eye. And some fruitcakes come along and sort of want to murder me or whatever, you know. That's just another little story. Anyway, I'll love you and leave you. So Ben's asking for a few more stories. Brain's gone. Here's one for you. I was in burnout a lot of the times, but I get to the end of the season and I was dying to get back on the vice. And design flies, just not tying them to sell, design flies, and I had all these ideas, etc. So I'd have to wait until April came. As soon as April came, I was just watching the days tick away. I'd be gone. As soon as the last day in April came and the season was closed, I'd shut the fly shop. I'd go in my house. I'd close all the curtains because I'm an introvert and I'm weird. Just create mayhem. And on average, I'd be in there for about 2 weeks, going like crazy, trying to work on maybe just one fly. Just finishing one fly that was in my head all season. And usually it worked. Within 2 weeks, I would have at least one fly that I can add to my collection. That's how things all came about. And I'd have sketches and names and stuff I'd write down through the year. I'd collect other people's flies for ideas, and then I'd just pull that out and I'd work off that, and I'd just create this mayhem in the office. 9 times out of 10, the fly I was originally going to design, I didn't design. I end up with something else, creating something else. Just the magic sort of happens. So that and then I would just buy a ticket and go somewhere to escape for the winter, and I'd take my vice and I'd start working on other stuff and learning how other people fish in different places and try and get better at my game. So that was sort of my life for quite a few years. Yeah, just another little snippet. There you go, Ben. So STU'S Superior Flies, that's the brand, that's the flies, etc. But before that, and I had to name the domain, etc., bionicflies.com. And I had a sticker made up as well, I remember. I was in Thailand fishing for snakehead, or trying. I'd been there so many times trying, and no success. So yeah, that's just another little story of the past. The history, the story of STU'S Superior Flies is quite remarkable, really, the more I think about it. And the more and more people ask me questions, and the more I do these videos, it's got a massive history. But I'm old. This waste pack has been round the world with me quite a few times. I squash everything into it, reels, flies, doesn't matter where I go. This is all I take. I've got it down pat. I take this, my reels fit in there, one fly box, you know, and that's it. It's starting to fall apart now. Went on a mission last year and it really fell apart as I was swimming across a river. All my stuff started floating downstream, but I had to ignore it because I was attached to a big fish at the time. I did lose a bit of gear, so I was lucky. I was in a remote area, but I had some cable ties and I fixed it up. But just recently, I've started to lose a few more things, so I might have to give in and actually buy a new one. Thanks for watching. From Tasmania. Thanks for your support. Love you all. Well, I've just sneaked up on these fish. I haven't seen any for a few days and now I've found these ones. So it'll be interesting how they react when I cast a fly at them. Problem is I don't have any flies with me or a rod. But I have got 3 items in my hand and I will see what happens. I'm about to throw one of them in. Oh, a little bit of activity, not much. One more. Oh, look at that. If you're a fisherman, you've probably got a boner by now. But never mind. You're not allowed to catch these ones unless they release them. What we have here is a stump sticking out the water full of the shucks of dragonflies and damselflies. I've never seen so many. Look at that.
Thanks, yeah.
Look at these big dragonflies. We call them mud.
On that there too.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing. Swim up through the water onto this log, crawl up this log, and then they hatch into adult flies.
It looks like the mud-eye, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's what they call in Australia mud-eye. It's a dragonfly nymph. And that's just a shock. Fantastic. Love that shit. See ya. Just to prove to everyone that we slay the fish, Jeff just did one cast with a deadly black hopper with about half a foot of line, tippet below it, with a deadly damsel nymph on. And I wasn't watching, so I don't know what he caught.
Jesus.
And
Get off.
and just to prove how good we are, it got off.
Took the nymph.
It took the nymph.
Busted me off on the nymph.
So we're probably going to have to use heavier tippet on these fish because they're obviously related to Moby Dick. And yeah, that's the length we got there to the nymph. But the nymph is no longer there. But we could blame the guide. But since I'm half the guide today, I'm not taking the blame. Shh,
Oh, okay.
Don't say that,
Yeah,
don't say that. Okay, so yeah, we're just tied to a tree here. Heaps of damsels flying around there as well. But the fish are targeting the damsels flying above the water, and it makes them very hard to target, to catch, to fool. So we're concentrating with the nymph underneath the big dry. And it seems to be working. A treat. Everyone's really lovely. And in that little shop, back and forth over the last few months when I've been buying bits and pieces. Yeah, the staff in there is just, they're so wonderful. But as well, they all fish. Bunch of ladies in there mainly, and they all fish. I've even met one lady, and she's fly fishing for the women's fly fishing team for Australia, and she's just trying to save up money so she can attend the championships and compete. So she's working here as a guide as well, and they've got a bunch of guides work here. Jason Garrett owns this. Jason Garrett Jr. His father, Jason Garrett Sr., He's the guy who started London Lakes, what you've probably seen a little video of earlier, which I've been writing about in the book. And I've been writing, obviously, about this place and the legends. So they've got these boats here. The Fly Fishing World Championships here twice. And somebody up-fronted the money, some lovely, kind, obviously wealthy person up-fronted the money and brought in all these boats. I think it was a lady. And from the UK, as you see here, UK. So they imported them from the UK, used them for the championships for, I don't know what it was, or 2 weeks. And then they were up for sale, so the hotel here bought some of them. So it's quite amazing that these are from the UK. And yeah, I'm just going to try and locate a couple of these legends that I've promised a couple of books to. Well, they don't know they're getting them, but I'm giving them to them because they're so kind to me with their knowledge and smiles and cups of tea. Any more? Love you and leave you from Maina. Brumby's Lagoon, I think that's what it's called. And I was here this afternoon and caught 2 fish on a deadly spinner, a brown one, size 14. And I've come back in the evening, nothing much is happening. I've just changed my clothes, got some dry clothes back on. It's absolutely stunning. Is that not stunning? You don't even need to use any Photoshop on this. Absolutely stunning. And everyone else is at home, watching TV, doing what they love. And I'm out here doing what I love. I've just seen a fish rise just over in the middle there, but there's none near the edges. A bit of research. I'd just like to show you this because it's all coming back to me from 20 something years ago. Coming back to me, I'm just going to show you. So here's the map. I'm sort of down here on this burnt patch, and I just went for a doodle to here. But originally, years ago, I got dropped off here, went all the way through here, and I got to these bits of water and you've got to get a boat across. But I took my time as I was hiking, and I think all up I took like 16 days. But when I got to these spots, there was a boat, so I waited till the end of the day and there was no hikers around. Well, there wasn't many people anyway. And then I used the boat and I paddled around there and I fished out of it, and I caught what you call Australian salmon, which are actually what we call kawai in New Zealand. You know, and there's a few spots, and there's some famous. I was here basically looking for a parrot. There's a famous parrot. I can't remember about it just now, but yeah. So I got here, and then you get an airdrop. There was an airdrop. I got some more food there, and then I went all the way down here. But the reason I'm here is when I got to this point, something pretty amazing happened to me. Serendipity, you know, call it what you want. I bumped into some people and it was mind-blowing. And that's why I'm here, because it's going to be part of the story for Wandering Trout. So somehow this is connected to the book. There you go. Little bit of information. And if you've ever got a chance, I advise, give this walk a crack. And now I'm trying to create a company, a limited company, a brand. And I just can't get the name right. And sorry, I'm slapping my hands here. I'm actually getting bitten by ants. So I need to move. But I'm going to finish this video. And so I told her all this stuff. And she looked at me and went, "Why don't you call it STU'S Superior Flies?" I was like, why didn't I ask my mum 6 months ago or longer? So that's why it's called STU'S Superior Flies, due to my mum. Thanks, Mum. Love you, Mum. And thank you all. Oh, no. Ow. Thank you all for supporting me. See ya. Ow. Wait for it. Look what else I found. Pretty cool, eh? So I've been finding heaps of poo. And for those of you that don't know what poo is, animal shit. And I never know who's responsible. Apart from a few human poos that I've found, which is not fun. But anyway, I'm finding heaps of animal poos here. And yeah, this chart has got both sides full of poo. So at last, I'm going to discover who did what. So I'm off now for a wee walk over there to see if I can find some poo. See ya! Well, it's been a long time coming. It's been nearly 3 hours. And I finally got one. Oh. Oh. Not many, and they're spooky as hell. Oh, oh, he's a little crack. Beautiful fish. Took the deadly hopper. Look at the colours on this fish. Just stunning little fella. Well, I'm happy as a pig in shit. I love it when you catch a fish in a new river. Some people are all about size, but I love just colour and being there. And the challenge of actually not catching one for a long time. It's always good when you have a little bit of success. So this happens all the time here in the office in Tasmania. Oh, look, there's another one on it down here. So yeah, I'm just trying to lie down as I struggle to sit because of my back and right. And I just went for a pee, and lo and behold, I got leeches on me. Yeah, so now I've got to check everywhere. It's amazing. They just stick to everything. They're pretty clever. They haven't found a soft enough spot to get into my blood yet, but let's get rid of them. See, they're hard to get rid of. Still on there. Go on, get off, you bugger. Oh, I've just remembered. Somebody was asking me what's my claim to fame as such. And probably one of them, there's a few things that stick in my mind, but one of the things was, I had a gentleman once order some flies, and it was this fly off the movie called the Ganant. Right, so this is the dead flea. And before that, it was called the Ganant, and then it gradually changed. I tweaked it and made it better. But the Ganant, so I got an order from the States for that fly. And I filled the order, and I sent it away. And as I'm sending it away, I was like, I think it was maybe Carol Perkins, Orvis Lane, blah, blah, blah. And then I put it all together. I just went, wait a minute. So I Googled it. It turned out it was the owner from Orvis. Oh. Oh. To think a few days ago I was to think just a few days ago I was in a boat and I was desperate for a pee, and we were nowhere near the shore, and I didn't want to pee and get it in the guy's boat, so I emptied my water bottle, dangled my willy in there and had a pee, then pulled it out, and obviously and then give it a bit of a rinse out, and today I'm swigging out of it. Can't smell it. It smells of beautiful water in there. And it's not going to kill me, is it? Here we go. Just walking you in to the museum. of trout fishing. Wow, it's got that old mouldy smell. We walk you round. Wow. This is for the geek in me. This is worth coming. And that's the difference between STU'S Superior Flies, the brand, and everybody else out there. They're nowhere near the geek that I am, that the brand is. Wow, this is going to be awesome. It's funny, it reminds me of my grandfather. I don't know why. Maybe all the nostalgia. Oh look, Mitchell reels. Oh. Wow. There's an old motorbike there. That's quite a famous motorbike. I think they used that to go into some of the first fishermen decided they could use them to access some of the remote areas to fish. Oh, I love that. Look at that. And those lovely old guys all dressed up. Oh, maybe not so much old. They're quite young, some of them. Yeah, there's just something about it. It's the smell. It's got the smell of time. Well, anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you, and I'm going to get drilling at all this gear. Thanks for your support. Thanks for watching. Oh, look at the split cane. Ooh, ooh. Well, I always wanted to come here, and yeah, I'm here today. It's a bit overcast. And I'm entering the museum in Tasmania, and this is where the trout first arrived, the first trout eggs and salmon eggs. This is a hatchery obviously in here, and how it all happened. It's just amazing what they did back in those days, transporting those trout eggs, especially for me, all the way in a ship for many months. And the eggs actually came from near my house, which is even more interesting for me. I love you and leave you from Tasmania. This is another book I've been working on, the manuscript, etc., for a couple of years. It doesn't just happen. Ronnie, the amazing artist, has been busy as well designing the cover, and this book obviously is called Trout Wonderland. She's got me here naked, jumping in, etc. It's all part of the story. She's seen all the photographs. It's a true story. You can see the big trout, eels, ducks, helicopters, huts, the writing, all this, working with these other amazing creative people with some great ideas. Originally, I didn't want to be on the cover, but he says I need to be, so I was all about make me look older. But then when I bring volume 1 and 2 out, they're old books that I've written, so I'm going to look younger. Hey, hey. From Tasmania. Another fly that I've had quite good success with here, especially on the lakes when there was big spinner falls, is this deadly spinner. This is a black version. That's a brown version there. And this one's got an orange post on the top. It's quite easy to see in the foam lines. And this one's got a white post on the top. Nice little fluffy white post. That took me years to figure out. It's so simple, but it took me years, like most things. This spinner's got a nice slender body. And as you can see, the wings on the underside, so it leaves a really good imprint when it sits in the water. Its tail split, and that helps it float better as well. Helps it float more horizontal, just like the natural spinners when they're lying dead in the water. On the handles, on the cork handles, this one, nice and smooth. It's got a little bit of filler in it. I've used it for years. Nothing much has fallen out. looks pretty good. So here's another one here. You can see not too bad, but a bit more filler in it, considering this rod cost me like $1,500. This one here, this is one I just bought. It's a white one I just bought, and I've used it. There's some big chunks missing out of it, but this cost me $300 or something. But going by the state of that cork, it probably should have cost me a lot less. So cheap, very expensive, and in the middle price range. And the one in the middle price range is by far the better cork handle. And just thought I'd show you these Manuka beetles. There we go, the high-vis bionic beetle. And it was always my goal to design a beetle fly with the best hard shell back on the planet. That was my challenge, to try and make the best fly design of a beetle with the hardest iridescent shell. And I think I've cracked it. It's been out for years. It's very efficient. Comes in all different colours, but the green ones here is to represent the Manuka beetle in New Zealand. There's a lot of iridescent Manuka beetles. You see them in spring, and it sits quite low in the water because the fish come up really slow, and I'm pretty sure it's not just a silhouette. They can see the shell, the iridescent shell, because they come up so slow, they're really close to it. That's why I've designed it not to sit high in the surface, to sit just in the surface film, hanging down, so that the fish can see the back, the iridescent green. And this beetle here, an editor, a good friend of mine, an editor of a big magazine in South Africa, he was on the Oriti River one day, and that's a river in New Zealand that's known for big fish. Anyway, so he's sneaking around there, and he's been coming over for nearly 20 years now. Loves New Zealand, loves the challenge. And anyway, so he's fishing, and he's usually successful in the Oriti River, but he's there one day and he's not catching the fish, and he's got fish rising in front of him and he can't get them. Eventually he gets to one and he wonders what's going on, so he goes and stands in the middle of the river and he sees the green beetle coming down. Lo and behold, I'd given him some of these beetles. Everywhere, so it's not snakes, and you see that slithering shape in the sand. Well, not usually. It's a Brumbies wallaby. The other thing is, I'm walking out here this morning, and I've just got my, I'm packed up and I'm on my way out. The rain's coming. I've got my, I'm actually having to walk without any underpants off, underpants on, due to the fact I made a mistake last night, and there's obviously a local panty thief around. So some local has pinched my underpants. Obviously they might have had a little scent in them. I've been camping for a while. But anyway, love you and leave you from Tasmania. Thanks for the support. Remember, keep buying STU'S Superior flies and recommend them to all your friends. And it's the only way I can keep doing this. Oh. So everything stinks. I sat it in the car, just finished my camping, and I can't stand the smell, so I've learned a few tricks from some locals. This is a little bit of washing up liquid in both the boots, and then we take some water, and we're going to do that. I'm going to give them a scrub. I'm going to add some more water, and then this is the trick. What you've got to do is find some wombat poo and some Tasmanian devil poo. You can usually tell the Tasmanian devil poo because it's got a bit of hair in it where they've been eating a few critters, and the wombat poo because it's square. And apparently you just put a cube of that in each one and a bit of Tasmanian devil poo, and you leave it overnight. That's all you do. And you do the same with the socks.